The brothers finished their concert at London's Albert Hall. In the audience were their parents, Ike and Margaret Everly, who've just arrived to talk to Ian Whitcomb.
Well, actually, Ike, it's not quite true because you sang and played tonight, didn't you?
Yes, I did a couple of numbers.
Wonderful. I wanted to ask you, you obviously had a big influence musically on your sons. What were your influences when you began? Who influenced you?
Well, Ian, it's a long time ago. It all started, the style of guitar playing I do, started with a dear old black man by the name of Arnold Schultz. And I had the pleasure of seeing him a couple of times and saying hello to him. And I asked him to play a number, and he's just busy playing numbers for other people. And finally I asked him again, he says, "Boy, says, you like guitar, don't you?" And I said, "I sure do." And then he was the real starting of the thumbpick style that I know.
What kind of style, like?
Well, it was kind of, you know, it's a one-man band thing. You played your own rhythm, so to speak.
Can you illustrate it? You've got a guitar there,
Well,
there.
I'll be happy to try.
Can you show us? Because I'm very interested to know where that
Sure will.
came from.
I just happen to have a thumbpick here.
Yeah, wonderful.
Well, you see, you kind of make a full chord like that, Ian.
Yeah.
And then, well, I'll show you a little thing here. Then if you want to add a bass fiddle.
So it's a complete one-man band.
Well, we only had one instrument. We'd pass the guitar around back in those days, sit around on the railroad track or depot platform, and everybody would try to play the best he could by himself, you know.
Yes.
Sometimes they'd play, two of them play guitar, one played the rhythm, and the other one played the lead.
That was a great sound, isn't it? And it's very much like the Travis, Merle Travis, who wrote 60
Well, I suppose, yes, Travis, I suppose, was influenced by the same people I was, and he was younger than me, and me and a boy by the name of Rager, Merle he gives us credit for teaching him. We never taught him, he just learned it himself.
So you give him some tips at all or not? Or?
Maybe he learned from me, but I don't actually ever remember teaching him anything.
It's very like his style.
He's a very good instrument player himself.
Well, that in a way brings us on to the rock and roll days, because from what you were playing just now, it sounded Elvis Presley's first guitar player, Scotty Moore, sounded very much like that style.
Well, he's a young fella too, and there's a lot of them young fellas that plays that style awful good now, you know.
Yeah. Well, no, I won't. On those rock days, I'd like to bring you in, Margaret, now. I read somewhere today in Variety, I think it was an article that came out in 1958, saying that at the time of your son's big hits, that Ike had said that you were the secret behind the boy's success. How was that?
Well, he just flattered me a little bit, I think, Ian. But I did only what other mothers would do, just help out.
But were you quite strict on them? And did they have to come home at certain times of night and all that?
Well, we always had our time to rehearse our shows, and I always took care of that part of it. He would help them with their singing, and I took care of the boys.
But when rock and roll came along, I mean, there was a controversy at the time. I mean, I've heard that many country singers loathed it. I mean, they didn't like it at all. And did you find any? Did you feel any kind of hostility towards this at all?
Oh, no.
You did. You always liked it.
Oh, we always liked music. Our last family job together was in 1953, and Don and Phil were getting so much better than we were. You know, they were growing up big then, and also they were growing up in music. So they grew away from us, and so we stepped back, and we liked their music that they were learning, and we didn't do it. So we stepped back and worked at something else while they went on with their music. So we liked it all. We liked the rock and roll. We liked the music that the kids are doing, and we just love music.
So they were part of the show, part of your family touring act. Could you tell us a little bit more about what kind of material, what kind of songs you sang together as a family in those days?
Well, we did songs like Hank Williams songs. I Saw the Light for some of our hymns, and Mountain on the Hill, yes, Mountain on the Hill. And Don did a lot of Hank Williams solos. And then they did their duets. They did some of the brothers singing, the country singing. The Delmo brothers.
Oh, they had a big influence on them.
Yes.
I asked you earlier, I think I asked Ike whether the Blue Sky brothers had a big influence on them, because it's often said that they did. But...
Well, they might have, but I don't think as much as maybe the York brothers now. They had an influence on the boys. They learned several of their songs. And like I said, the Delmo brothers. And maybe they did learn some from them. Now, I'm not sure about that.
All these brothers, it's a very curious thing in country music. You always have families like the Carters and these brothers.
Yes,
you don't find that in the blues as much. Do you know why this should be so?
They don't sing the blues so much.
No, I meant to say that you don't seem to find black family acts, anything like this.
No, most usually they're solos. I've heard some fine ones though, you know. Old blues singers, I love it. I really do.
Finally, I'd love to hear a song from you both, but you haven't got a very quick one or not? Maybe a 20-second song.
Wandering down the road of life, wondering what's going to be. Don't know what I'm searching for, don't get that I will. Just seem to know someday I'll find someone who cares, will be mine, wandering down the road of life, and I'll find what's over you.
Margaret and Ike Everly, thank you very much indeed.
It's our pleasure.
And we invited their parents into the studios to talk to us. Don Everly came in with them, and after the programme, I asked him how he and Phil had broken away from the country music influence of their parents and into rock and roll.
Rock and roll, when we started recording, was Bill Haley. They said Bill Haley was rock and roll. And Alan Freed is the person that really coined the word anyway. He became very famous in New York City as a disc jockey with the word rock and roll show, you know. And so it was just really a label that, it's like Carnaby Street. People in the States, you still mention Carnaby Street to people in the States, and they say, well, that's where all the fashion, you know, it's that kind of label that was stuck upon music. And it was good. It did get it through. It did survive.
Did you hear the Black Rhythm and Blues when you were a kid, the kind of thing
that
led
yeah.
up to Freed's rock and
Well,
roll?
my favorite record when I was in high school was Bo Diddley by Bo Diddley.
Yeah.
And that was, to me, well, besides country music that I was really into, singing every day is working with my mother and father. But I listened to an awful lot of black music. I listened to a lot of the gospel and a lot of the just blues. And my hair was a bit longer than was necessary for a country musician at that time. I was younger than most country musicians that age. Was like 40 years old. You had to be 40 years old before you could really be considered a top pop country musician.
And did you get any backlash from the country
Yeah.
music people?
When we recorded Let It Be Me and it had strings on it, they dropped us out of the country western charts and Billboard and Cashbox because it had strings. But then it wasn't considered, I don't know why, but then they decided that that wasn't a country record, that was written by a French guy, and that it was no longer country music. I could understand it, but that's the way they thought about it.
And in your own solo things, what kind of influences do you think are coming out there, specifically? What sort of things are moving you? Do you listen, for instance, to what's going on now and enjoy?
What do you mean, the music that's good? I listen to what everything probably influences everyone, all the records that we all hear. We all heard the Beatles when they were around because definitely the music was there, and we hear the Rolling Stones, we hear James Taylor, we hear Joni Mitchell, we hear, it just goes on and on. You're influenced by all that. It's everything you hear.
Mm-hmm. Are you doing any more solo?
Yeah, but I'm starting now. The RCA Victor contract that we're with now calls for the Everly Brothers album, which is 90% finished, which will be out in January. And it calls for a Phil Everly single album. It calls for a Don Everly single album. And so there'll be 3 albums probably within the next year.
What's on the Everly Brothers album? Can you tell us? New material?
Songs that you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Because they're brand new.
You and Phil wrote them?
No, most of them are written by contemporary songwriters like Rod Stewart, Chris Christopherson, and other people. Delaney and Bonnie were on the session. John Sebastian was on the session. But, we didn't do one of his songs, but I think we're going to do it. We're going to finish off the album maybe with one of his. It was on the recording session. It's quite an album, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you do when you take a song, say a Rod Stewart song or a Chris Christopherson song? Do you attempt to impose the kind of the well-known Everly Brothers style on
Not
covers?
really. It just imposes itself if it's singing in that time. Because when we sing together, it will sound like the Everly Brothers, no matter what goes down in front. It just happens that way. We go to the studio, we pick the song, and the musicians, and everything is there, and it either works or it doesn't. But this album will work.
Tom, thank you very much.